All right. First up, we have the Pentax K1000. All right, I'm fired. So, what we're going to do today is a classic thing with this awesome camera. But before we get to that, this thing came out in 1976, same year the AE1 came out. And it was the exact opposite of the AE1. Fully mechanical. The battery literally only does the meter and doesn't even need the battery to be functionable. One of the classic things that always happens with this camera is in the viewfinder you can see right there, there's bleed, and it basically just grows like mold, and it is crazy, just crazy. And we have a Prism right here that we're gonna slide up in here. And I actually love this camera. A little crusty, advanced, but hey, you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? So let's go ahead and open up the film door. Just lift up on the rewind knob. Should dare pop right at. And let's see here. Man, it's been a while since I had to do one of these. But this is a very sought out after camera and not too expensive, you know. We're going to go ahead and take off this rewind knob first and foremost while I sit here and debate what tool to use. Way you take that rewind knob off, if this is your first video with me, you can literally use just about anything that can fit between these two teeth right here of the rewind shaft. Make sure you have fun with that shaft, and basically you're gonna clog that shaft and push that shaft to the left, lefty loosey. Now, everything on this camera is not lefty loosey. One of the big things I wanted to show in this video are little bitty key things that Pentax did that I think was to stop other techs from tampering with their goods. And we'll get to that very, very shortly. So get the Steve Wright tool, 2 holes, put it in there. This one's going to be lefty loosey. I usually just give a nudge just enough to loosen it and then use thy fingers. What's really cool too is of course this one's plastic, but I guess in the beginning years they used metal, which was really cool. So there is a little piece. Go ahead and flop her out just like that. I'm going to go ahead and take off the shutter speed dial first. I like to hold it, and this is going to be left. I like to once again loosen it and then use my tweezers. Now if it gets too tough with the tweezers, I will immediately pull out. Don't want no more kids. And then go back to these and keep going till it's loose. And I just like to use these because I have less chance of scraping and scratching this piece up. This piece is pretty much worth its weight in gold because people want those to look clean. All right, so we're on 400 ISO, 1,000th of a second. Don't forget that right there. All right, so we're going to take off the cover to the advance lever. And you're going to need very small, thin flathead screwdriver. And you have 3 set screws. Now, a set screw, just for those who don't know, a set screw is something that stays in, but you loosen and it holds something onto. So in this case, you have 3 set screws that you're going to loosen. I'd say 3 to 4 rotations. 4 might be too far. There's 1, there's 2, and make sure you're in there before you start spinning. You don't want to be like them old spree wheels. They keep spinning. Alright, so we got that off. Oh, look, it's not a flathead. It's a cross point. Man, if y'all watched my cross point video, you can tell, you could literally see the cross pointing. Alright, so this screw is going to be your your right. So you're going to hold the frame counter, and to loosen this, you're going to go right. Alright. Don't you be careful not to close that door. Alright. You go to the right to loosen it. It is backwards. Boom. So this, pay attention to the orientation and the washers and all of that, because that is very, very crucial. You're going to get them rights. And this, I believe, is backwards as well. So I'm going to the right to loosen it. Different. Have to remember that, because if you don't, then the bottom of this screw, it'll break in half, and then you'll be screwed. And the rest are going to be regular screws. Lefty loosey. Alright, so you have a set washer right here, and you're going to just scooch it over until you see the pieces lined up to where you can just lift her off. I'm gonna get you a little zoom up in there. You're gonna keep that right there, boy. Right. Don't forget the orientation. You do have a washer, and then when I go back, even if I don't remember, I can go in this order. Alright, so then you have 3 top screws. I like that. I don't have to go sideways and all that good old stuff. Alright. And literally with the orientation of the screws, you can just go right back. Just lift up on the top cover. Now, one thing to remember or to know is this piece can fall out. And what that is, it's the shutter button pin. There's actually a washer on it as well, y'all. So sometimes they don't stay in. I mean, they just put little pieces of grease, but you can do that, and then boom, it's there. And as you're putting it back on, you're like, I did it. And then next thing you know, you didn't do it, and then you have to retake everything off. Don't like that. Alright, I'm going to set you over here, and we're going to set you under there, and we're not going to forget. What we have here, boys, is underneath a K1000. It's pretty cool, pretty simple, which is awesome. Here's your meter. Love this thing. Oh, man. Let's go ahead and remove this. You got to remember that goes there. So we're going to set you in front of there. You actually have 2 screws here. Of course, clean the prism beforehand. Don't forget Young Kim. If this is your first video, then Young Kim Tech. Get them while they're hot. All right. Gonna give it a little blow. Now we're gonna start removing. All right, we're gonna move these wires back. Now, these guys, all you really gotta do is just get one. I like to get my tweezer, straight tweezers. Put it in the hole, go down, and then remove that. And it should be pretty simple to take the next one off. Remember where those hook in right here. Now remember those 2 screws on the side. I just loosen them up just a tad. And should just lift out. Okie dokie. Yeah, and you can see in the right in there, you can see the bleeding. All right, so the debris, there is some debris that will, man, and one thing about blowing inside of, on top of this is that meter needle, man, you do not want to blow too hard and mess that needle up, because it, hopefully your meter's good, but at the end of the day, your meter could be broken and you still do this and your camera still kicks butt, you know? There goes Young Compressor. That looks really clean. So I'm gonna, feeling kind of lucky today, boys and girls. Hopefully girls watch this. We are not the right prism. Let's see. This other prism that I have. What do you know? Hey! Hey! Need some Q-tips. This debris is all up in the mix. What was that? Roger and Zap in the mix. What happened to those dudes? All right, we are going to insert just sits right in there. A little bit of Spectrum. All right, that did not want to work. There we go. We're going to tighten these 2 screws to hold her down. I I usually just set that brass piece back on top right there. Curved tweezers. All right, so remember I'm going to be right there. So you're going to hook. Come on. Gotta go fishing, boy. Now, it's not that simple to hook, but nor is it that difficult, to be honest. There's a lot of techs probably watching talking about, man, I used to do that with two hands tied behind the back, belly flopping into a pool. Like, okay, Richard. So boom, I went ahead and locked that side first, holding this side down. And that one was a little bent. Whoopsies. So when you drop things, I was always taught not to blink. Listen and then don't blink. Listen, follow with your ears, not your heart. We're gonna hook you a little further back before I start bending. Oh, we got him in the right spot. Yeah. All right, we're gonna set those wires back. We're gonna look through. We're gonna see that cleanliness, that beautifulness. And there is no, what do they say, iodine or something, like silver oxide? I don't remember. All right, let's go ahead and put this top cover back on. This should be like a little quickie. We're going to put back, remember, we're going in this order. Boom shakalaka. Going to sit right there. Top cover. Oh my goodness, before the top cover. Hopefully y'all remembered. This goes on. Slide up in there. Always make sure the shutter button pops up nice and fast. That's how you know that that piece is still in there. So now we're going to go down the line. And line them up. Set them down. Now remember, this is that piece that holds down. So you're going to push them until you get up in them holes, till you get all three holes. Boom. Now you know, you can see it's all lined up. You can push just a little tad right there. Make sure it gives it a little, you know what I'm saying? This, remember, this one is a righty loosey, so lefty is tighty on this one. Very proud that I got that reversed analogy together for y'all. You know, I've just grown up so much in front of y'all. Don't forget that washer. Ooh, around yonder, going to put that back. I put that at 0. Right. So this is not a full circle. Hopefully y'all can see that. And it sits specifically, believe it or not, into this mechanism. Boom. Now you get your lefty tighty, righty loosey screw. And you're going to go to the left to tighten it. You know, the one with the cross point is so much easier than the flathead. I can't stand flathead screws. It's like the epitome of my repair. Make sure it don't move. It's lined up with the -2. You got a tooth here. You got a tooth hole right there. Then you got another tooth right here. You're going to set them teeth up in there. I always make sure, remember we were at 400 ISO. And 1,000th of a second. So, I mean, hypothetically, if you just line it up, 400, boom. So you'll line them up. And then I even pulled up, like on the ISO dot, to change the ISO to rock it into the 400 place. And then it just sits down perfectly. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. The fact that I got it first tee was pretty cool. I mean, I only do that 1 out of 23. Shout out to MJ. And give it a nice little tug. You just want to make sure that the ISO dial spins freely. Don't forget, this little guy is going to go here. Boom. Before you put on the plastic cover, casing, collar. Usually get it right there. Give it a little tug. Now remember what you got to do in the shaft, to the shaft, to tighten this up. So I put it up in the teeth. Give it a little tight, boom, shaka laka. And that is how you really swap the Prism out. I'm really glad y'all watch this. Give me a subscribe, give me a like, give me a comment. I don't know. I guess put a camera if you want to see something. If it catches our attention or if it gets back to me. I don't literally check these, but yeah, holla at your boy. Stay positive, stay focused, and have fun. Peace.